Also, any other materials or data relating to a specifically named individual, the disclosure of which may constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. There is also Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 214, Section 1B, which is known as the Privacy Statute, which says that a person shall have a right against unreasonable, substantial, or serious interference with his privacy. Now, it's very interesting. There's a case that was decided by the Superior Court that had to do with a preliminary search committee, and the applicants for that search requested that their names not be disclosed. The preliminary search committee did not disclose their names, and a reporter made a complaint against that committee. This case went all the way up to Superior Court, and this is what the judge had to say. The judge noted that the exemption of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 4, Section 726C, applied to materials whose disclosure may constitute an invasion of personal privacy. He noted the distinction between this exemption and the standard of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 214, Section 1B, which refers to an unreasonable, substantial, or serious interference with a person's privacy. He concluded that the school committee had made an adequate showing that some applicants' privacy might be invaded by disclosure of their names. He noted the possible adverse effect of disclosure on an applicant's attempt to obtain future employment, on his ability to function in the job he then held, and on his standing in his community. The judge ruled in favor of the search committee that there was no open meeting law violation for not disclosing the names of applicants when they requested confidentiality. Sounds like a very similar case to this case we have. So I'm fully confident that the Attorney General will find that our preliminary search committee has not violated the open meeting law to the complaint made by the reporter. There was another story recently published by the reporter. Lisa, can you get that one? And that headline states, "Proposed Conway search group could violate the law." This is an article that really disparages this Board of Selectmen. In board meetings, any one of the board members is free to say whatever they want at a board meeting. However, that does not mean that what they say will be the official course of the board. In the meeting that this article was written about, Rick Bean had a number of comments. However, there was no discussion about those comments. There was no motion made on what was said, and there was no vote taken on what was said. So the article written by the recorder, rather than being based on fact or what was done, is being based on conjecture and speculation. Kathleen, I don't blame you. You're young, you're inexperienced. So I don't put much of the responsibility for these 2 articles on you. However, your managing editor has 30 years experience in the newspaper business as a reporter and editor, and he should have known better than to print either one of these articles without doing the research on the first one and certainly speculating on this one. By filing the open meeting law complaint against this board, the reporter has wasted a substantial amount of time of this board. The recorder has done harm to the town of Conway in our most recent search process. The town advertised for a town administrator, and because of this recent publicity, received less than half of the resumes that were received in the last search. There were also members of the previous preliminary search committee who did not want to participate in the present search committee. Personally, I will no longer offer any information or answer any questions of the recorder staff. And I would hope that based on the brand of irresponsible journalism practiced by the recorder, town employees and other board and committee members will do the same. Jim, the floor is yours.
Well, I have a problem with, I don't want to ask a question. Who decides what the headlines will be to the articles?
The reporters suggest headlines, the editors make them better or make it so it fits in the newspaper.
Or is more sensational, so people will be more interested in taking a look. That's what it looks like to me. Because it's like, once upon a time, there was an article, and it continues, and this article, it says, we could violate the law. The meeting hadn't even taken place. No decision had been made. So somebody is projecting that, oh, we could violate the law? And my statement to the one quite a long time ago was, I could have been part of the conspiracy to kill John Kennedy, but I wasn't. You can't prove that I wasn't part of that conspiracy. You can't prove I was. That's how foolish some of the headlines are in our newspapers and in our articles, because they speculate. It turns the recorder in some of its articles into one of those cash register checkouts at the grocery store. I don't even know the names of them because I don't care, except their sensationalism. And I really don't like that. And sometimes, in regards to the select boards in our different towns, it seems like the recorder has this attitude. You are guilty if we say you're guilty, and we'll continue to treat you as though you're guilty until we get some kind of decision from the Attorney General's office. And in some of these, we may have made mistakes. None of us are perfect. And it bothers me, though, that we are continually treated by the recorder as though we're guilty of something, or we're going to be guilty of something that we are not guilty of and are not going to be guilty of. It makes me not like these open meeting laws. It would be nice if we could come to a meeting, sit down, discuss the town's business, which is the town's business, and take care of that and go home. The way it used to be. I'm getting old. But anyway, it upsets me about the innuendo, the implications, whatever, that may or may not be true in the past or in the future. That's all I've got to say.
Next item on the agenda, and before we get to that, let me just say that this board does everything it can to conform with all the laws of the state of Massachusetts, including the open meeting law. Okay, next item on the agenda, United Congregational Church, the Germain Fund request. I know Rick has a couple of comments on that, so I want to table that until next week.
Okay.
Town administrator hiring process. again, I want Rick to be here for that, so
Okay.
we'll table that as well.
All right.
Okay, we have a list of people we need to reappoint for fiscal year 2014. I've been through the list, and I have some questions on some of the appointments. So what I'd like to do is, we'll give this to Laura, have her start on this, filling in this form for each of them, and then we'll cull out the ones where we have questions. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
All right, so we'll refer that to Laura. We received a very nice thank you from Jacob Conroy for the Germain Scholarship that he received.
Yep.
We received a letter from the Select Board from the town of Wareham that is writing to ask us to support an amendment to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40B, Section 20, by adding the following sentence: low and moderate income housing shall also include mobile homes and group homes, manufactured homes, in-law apartments, and other first-time home buyers participating in any state or federal assistance program. In other words, they want to expand the definition of low and moderate income housing, because there's a 10% requirement that each town have that type of housing. I'll ask town council to review this and give us his advice on this, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
We got a letter from the Division of Fisheries and Wildlife, the Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program, and they have found that the improvements to the athletic field, the new parking lot, and the improvement of the existing parking lot will not adversely affect the actual resource area habitat of state-protected wildlife species, and they also indicated that the division has determined that this project as currently proposed will not result in a prohibited take of state listed rare species. So they basically given us the okay to go ahead with the project. We have an FYI from our town clerk, Virginia Knowlton, just indicating again that Heather Rose has resigned her position as member of the Personnel Committee. Under new business, the Frontier Community Access television station has indicated to us there have been difficulties with their website since this morning. They expect to have those problems resolved by the end of business on Wednesday the 3rd. So nobody will be able to see us on TV until Wednesday.
Good.
Okay, any concerns that you have?
No, none I can think of. Things are progressing with the 250th committee for our fundraiser on Thursday, and I'm excited about that. We're hoping that a lot of people will turn out, and it's kind of exciting.
Well,
It should be funny, comical,
I was surprised to find out there were 78 people signed up to play baseball.
in a day and a half.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good response to that.
And with Berkshire Brewing Company being there with their beer garden,
Yeah.
should have a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well, we're talking it up too to people out there.
oh, okay.
So, we're hoping.
I was very interested to hear about Jack Chesbrough, our Hall of Fame baseball player from Conway, who still holds the American League record for the most wins in one season in the American League. Well, that's when the spit was legal.
Yeah.
41 wins.
I had a cousin who was a pitcher back in those days.
He also has the record for most games started and most complete games. 51 games started, 48 complete games in one season.
It's amazing how nobody's timed that record.
It stood for 109 years, Jim. It was 1904.
Yeah.
He set the record. All right, and his nickname is Happy Jack.
Right.
So hopefully we'll all be happy on Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should be.
Any other business?
I can't think of anything offhand.
Okay. Our next meeting is July 8th.
Rick will be back.
We'll be back. All right, so I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.